Hello and welcome to The Game Plan. I'm Paul Jodka, joined by former New South Wales and Australian Centre Josh Morris. How are you, Josh?
Good, Paul. Good to be here and looking to talk about three great centres.
Exactly. It is three very good centres and they're likely to have a big impact on the 2024 season. So let's start with a premiership winner and grand final try scoring specialist who is changing clubs this year in Stephen Crichton. Josh, take us through some of the plays that makes Crichton so hard to defend against.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy that the Bulldogs have signed Stephen Crichton. I mean, he's a triple premiership winner, but what I love about him the most is that his ability to play on both sides of the field. We saw throughout the year with Tago injured that he shifted sides, and then just some of the things that he can do on both sides of the field. So if we run through here, we'll have a look here. The Panthers have got a shift from left to right, but what they do is they shift the ball early to Crichton. So as a centre defensively, this was probably one of the easier plays to defend. You got man on man here. He sums it up. He goes, I'm going to take on my centre here. What he does is he gets his big fend out, puts it into his chest, breaks through the line, and then has his fend out again, but knows where the try line is and comes up with a great try there. And I think that went on to win them the game as well. So if we move on to the next play, we see him on the right side again here against the Doggies. What we see is he's dropped under, but we've seen his ability to break tackles. He's still got the ball in that left hand and he's getting ready to get his fend out to beat the defender. Slices straight through and scores right underneath the post. So we've seen his ability to beat a player on the outside. We've now seen his ability to cut across and come back through the inside and middle of the field to score his try. And here we see he's on the left side of the field here. So we saw in the first clip he was on the right side. He got the ball in his hand and he got it in his right hand and stuck out his left arm for his fend. We're going to see him do it on the opposite side of the field. So for young players, if you want to become a centre or even an outside back, you have to be able to transition the ball from one hand to the other and be able to fend with both hands. Crichton, because of his height, his fend, he can get it out quite a bit, which makes him very hard to defend. You can see Tony Staggs trying to clutch onto him here, but he's also big enough to break tackles and have power to carry people over the try line like this, which makes him an incredible player attack-wise.
And that's him scoring tries, and you talk about his attack, but he's got an ability to score in defence as well, right? A rare talent. He's got some famous intercept tries. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, well, one of his most famous is obviously the grand final against South, where he was playing on the wing. But what I loved about this was he has deception in his defence. So he's backing off slowly, but then when the pass goes, he seizes the opportunity and rushes to the ball and takes the intercept here and runs away. And as we know, Penrith went on to win that grand final off the back of that try. So as a good centre, you have to be able to come in and make a play by jamming. You also have to be able to slide, but you have to have deception as well. So the half or the ball player doesn't know what you're going to do defensively. And I think Crichton is one of the best in the game at doing this. So if we have a look here, he's on the field again. But what happens here is the ball's bouncing. Now, sometimes what happens when the ball bounces is that players just stop. The good ones react and they sense where the ball is going to bounce. He's Johnny on the spot here, and against Souths again, he has a habit of doing it. He runs away with this one as well and scores a great try. So he is a bit of an opportunist in that sense as well. We see here against Manly, and I like this one. This is probably one of my favourite ones with Crichton. So if we see them shift out to this edge here, we see him, he's turned in. He's turned in here. So as a half, you're looking for indicators. If the player's turned in, you think you've got the ability to pass it to the centre out here to get him into space. But what he does is he fools Daly here, and Daly's one of the best halves in the game, and he's still able to fool him. He turns in to give the reason that he's going to go to Olakuatu, and then he squares his body up, sticks that long arm out, pulls it back in and runs away for another try. So like I said, as any good centre, you've got to be able to make a number of reads out there wide, but you also have to have that deception as well to make it hard to score against. So he is one of the best in terms of intercepts, and that's one of the reasons why.
His defence, also he can pull off these big hits and good reads in defence.
Yeah, and what I like about him as well, he's not one of the players that always goes high.
Yeah.
He tends to make a lot of tackles around the middle and lower legs, and always seems to get himself in a position to get back up and get in front of the player and mark here. What we can see here is that jamming defence, and this one was a bell ringer here, and comes up with a big play there and forces the error. So that's one read as a centre that you have to make. You have to be able to come in and jam. Here we see him just holding just a little bit. He's waiting on the pass. And then he goes to the man and hits him. As I said, around that middle. It's not up high. He's not looking to stand and wrestle. He's hit him through the middle there and made a very dominant tackle there. So as we can see here, they're looking to shift, and he's also his ability to read the play there. So if we go back just a little bit, we'll see that he's got two options here. He's got the lead runner and out the back. He's kept his body square. We can see him here. He's kept his body square, and he's able to then move in and still get a big left shoulder tackle, stepping in and rattling him there. So he's got it all. And for Dogs fans, I think you should be very excited with the signing of Stephen Crichton.
Can't wait to see him in 2024. Let's turn to a player moving from the Broncos to the Dolphins in Herbie Farnworth. Take us through some of his good ball running skills.
Yeah, for me, what really stood out about Herbie this year, I think he put on a bit more size on his frame.
Yep.
And for me, he was always good at breaking tackles, but he looked a lot stronger. He would look like he was able to burst through the line, and he played a lot more shorter balls and hitting them, and still had the ability to break tackles and offload and whatnot. So massive signing for the Dolphins as well after the season that he had. So if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm very happy with the signing of Farnworth here. Now, we've been talking about Stephen Crichton here, and this is what happens when you miss the intercept. But Herbie, as I said, he's ran that powerful line there, and he's able to hit it at pace and get through and score a try there. And they ended up winning that game. That was the first game of this season. If you remember, they ended up beating the Panthers at home. So that was a big win. Here we go. Here we see Herbie here hitting the ball short. And as I said, he has put on a bit of size, and he's a lot more powerful. You can see here he's running into traffic here. He's got two players in front of him. Doesn't seem to matter. He seems strong enough to carry them over and get the ball down. So as a centre, you've got to be able to have that fancy footwork and want the ball early, but you've also got to be able to punch on those hard lines and try and carry people through with you. So he certainly did that on that play. Now here we see here, the Roosters have rushed off the line to try and shut it down. That's left him with the overlap here, but he still had a lot of work to do here. He's managed to carry two or three over and still be good enough to break tackles to score there. So, as I said, similar to Crichton, he has that size and that strength, and they are genuine match winners these days, these centres.
Well, even running, not scoring the tries, but he's able to set up tries through that strong running game.
Yeah, that's it. As a centre, you want to be able to try and score those tries, but you also want to be able to put your winger away as well. And that is a trait of Crichton as well. He allows space for his outside man to score as well. So we'll take a look at some of Herbie's assists here as well. So he's getting this one off the ruck. It's not your genuine centre play. He's come in for a carry, and as I said, he's always had that stepping ability, but he's been able to come through the middle here, and Reece Walsh on the spot to score. As any good fullback, you should be supporting there, but it's that difference in that carry. He was able to get through the middle of the ruck with his size, but also his footwork to break tackles and then come up with the big play to set up Walsh for the try. As we can see here, Mam's held him up short, and he's reacted to him instead of trying to run that outline and put himself in the direction of this centre. He's actually reacted and turned the corner to come back into this gap. And if we continue playing, he's come up with a pretty decent flick to get it back to Ezra Mam there. So not just the pass, he's got the flick pass as well in his kit bag. Same thing here. So we've seen three different ways to get there. So due to his size and his strength and his power, he's already on the outside of his centre here. But what is happening is he's trying to get this winger interested and turned in to give this man an easier run to the try line. So if we continue watching, he just does enough to bring him in, and that's enough space for Jesse Arthurs to get over the try line there.
Defensively, he's got a number of strings to his bow, and we can have a look at some of these big plays from the last couple of years.
Yeah, so as a centre, we've spoken about your defensive reads. You can jam, you can hold, but there's also this as well. Now, a lot of clubs do practice this, and it's about holding the man up. Anywhere from this kind of 5 metre channel here, if you can hold the player up and allow other players to come in and drag them over the sideline, it becomes a very big weapon in your arsenal as a centre. Yeah. And good strength, as I said, he's a big body and had some good strength there. As we see here, the Bulldogs, we see them just making a 2-man tackle here. Looks pretty simple, but he's got the smarts. He had his hands all on the ball. He's told his teammates to pull out of the tackle. Thought he had a good chance of a one-on-one strip here. Gets a one-on-one strip and then still has the skill and the strength and the speed to get there to score a crucial try for the Broncos there. Now, as we've seen on this occasion as well, the deception. He looks as if he's about to stay square, but also head out to make the tackle on this man. He's waiting on the pass. The pass isn't a good one. He seizes his opportunity, takes the intercept, runs away and scores a try. So we've seen both centres be able to tell deception with their body language and the way that their body's positioned to allow them to come up with an intercept and score a try.
Great signing for Wayne Bennett's men.
Very happy if you're a Dolphins fan.
Let's talk about someone not changing clubs now, but who will be required to take on more responsibility in 2024, and that's the Panthers' Izack Tago. Let's look at some of the key plays from last year, including his run game.
Yeah, well, a multiple premiership winner here as well, and missed a big chunk of last year, but came back and was instrumental in the Panthers' success. So let's have a look at some of his plays. See here, a shift out. Now he's turned them inside out here. He's beaten his centre. He's turned the winger inside out here. And this is a feature of his game as well. He might not be the biggest centre, but his tackle breaking ability is up there with the best in the game. So we've seen that. That's just a really good run. This was from 2 years ago, showing his ability to cut back under. He sensed that the half here has overchased on Luai, and that's opened up the space back on the inside. And then he has the strength and the pace to still be able to carry it over to score a try. So 2 different styles of play here. As we see here, we see him get on the outside here. Now this is a cracking try. He's got the pace. He's burned his man for speed. The pass isn't on, so he's held it himself. He's managed to break another tackle, and then showed that he's able to fend and be strong enough to fend as well. And you get a 10-point finish for the dive there as well. So outstanding. Bit smaller in terms of Farnworth and Crichton, but still his tackle breaking ability and his pace, he's certainly underrated. And as we're going to see next year, he's going to need to step it up to be that number 1 centre at Penrith. Yeah,
and a lot of people are starting to learn about that run game, but like all good centres, he's developing this strong passing game, especially close to the line.
Yeah, that's it. You need to be able to have that sleight of hand to be able to put your winger away. So as we can see here, Tom Dearden has bid in on his lead runner. That leaves a 3 on 2 here. So as we play, centre has turned in here, and then he's able to catch the ball and transfer it in the one motion. It's in one step, and yeah, that's high class skill there to put his winger away there to score the try. Down a short side there, and you need to move quickly, as we can see again here. Similar play, but instead of having the fullback, they've just used the back rower and the centre, which is what we see quite a bit on short sides. Without the fullback, it's normally the back rower leading for the centre there. But same play, still needed to transfer it within pretty much a step and gets it away to To'o to score a try there. So 2 cases where he's had very, very silky hands. As we can see, it's a bit different here. Amazing skill there. I think this was from a couple of years ago, but this is probably a skill that's come in from the last 4 or 5 years, centres being able to kick for their wingers. Yeah. And you saw on hand there that he has the skill to do that as well. So a different centre to Crichton and Farnworth, but certainly well-rounded in his run, pass and kick game.
And also his defence, he's pulled off some big hits over the last year or two. Let's take through some of those tackles and the reads.
So we see here, it looks as if Ponga has beaten Cogger here. So he just bides his time and waits for him to run into his space, and then steps in and delivers a pretty big hit on Ponga there, which doesn't happen too often. But here we see another one. If we take this back, this one's a bit different, whereas Ponga had a bit more space to move. He senses that Tommy Trbojevic is getting it out the back. He senses the threat there. He's able to come in and whack. Comes up with an error there.
Players he's forcing.
Yeah. So, 2 decent players there, and he's come up with a couple of bell ringers there. So, and then we see again, like all good centres, just kind of turns his body in a little bit to give the sense that the space is on the outside. And then as soon as the pass goes long, he accelerates into it, takes the intercept, and then has the pace to get there. So defensively, he's up there as well. And we see similar traits in the good centres, and they're going to be playing for 3 different clubs. And I think their success relies a lot on what they do.
Fans will be keen to see them in action this year. Thanks, Josh. Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
For more game plans, you can go to nrl.com or visit the app.